He was outrageous. I mean, he was just a beautiful spirit, you know. I mean, he certainly didn't deserve that, you know. And he's another, I mean, once again, we're bringing, I guess, the older you get.
What do Eddie Van Halen, John Mayer, and Steve Vai all have in common? They've all felt the sharp edge of Keith Richards' legendary tongue. That's right, folks. The human riff itself, the man who gave us satisfaction and can't get none, has no shortage of opinions when it comes to his fellow fretboard warriors. And trust me, they're not exactly what you'd call diplomatic. From calling out shredders for having no soul to dismissing modern guitarists as bedroom players, Keith has never been one to hold back. And today, we're counting down the 6 guitarists that the Rolling Stones icon allegedly can't stand, and the drama that went down behind the scenes. Whether you're Team Keith or think he's just cranky, buckle up because these feuds get juicy. We've got backstage blowouts, studio showdowns, and some truly savage quotes that'll make you wonder if these guitar gods ever actually like each other. So grab your popcorn, crank up your amp, and let's dive into the most controversial rivalries in rock and roll history. These are 6 guitarists that Keith Richards hates, and wait till you hear why. Number 6, Ingui Molmstein. Kicking off our countdown at number 6, we've got one of the most bitter feuds in guitar history. Keith Richards versus the Swedish guitar virtuoso Ingui Molmstein. And let me tell you, this one gets spicy. The clash between these two legends basically boils down to everything Keith hates about modern guitar playing. Ingui, with his lightning-fast, neoclassical shred style, represents exactly what Keith calls musical masturbation, all technique, no soul. It all allegedly started when Keith caught one of Ingui's performances on MTV back in the mid-'80s. According to industry insiders who were there, Keith turned to his bandmate Ronnie Wood and said, "Look at this prat. That's not guitar playing, mate. That's just showing off." The Stones camp was supposedly in stitches, but the jab didn't go unnoticed by the shred community. Things really heated up when Keith went on record in Guitar Player magazine, calling the whole neoclassical movement a circus sideshow, and saying that true guitar artistry comes from passion, not from bedroom practice sessions with metronomes. Ingui, known for his fiery temperament, reportedly fired back in a Swedish interview, calling Keith an old blues dinosaur who couldn't play a proper scale if his life depended on it. The feud perfectly captures the age-old debate in the guitar world, feel versus technique. Keith comes from the school of raw emotion, where 3 chords and the truth trump a 1,000-note sweep any day. Ingui represents the technical revolution, proving that you can do things with 6 strings that rock pioneers never dreamed possible. For Keith, though, there's no contest. As he allegedly put it at a recording session, "I'll take B.B. King playing 1 note with feeling over that Swedish circus performer any day." Number 5, Steve Vai. Coming in at number 5, we've got the ultimate clash of styles, Keith Richards versus Steve Vai, the man often called the most technically gifted guitarist on the planet. This feud perfectly captures the age-old debate between raw emotion and technical mastery. It all allegedly started at the 1991 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony, where both guitarists were on the bill. During the jam session, Steve launched into one of his signature technical showcases, complete with tapping, sweeping, and every trick in the book. According to witnesses, Keith watched with visible disgust, later telling a reporter, "That bloke plays like he's performing open-heart surgery, not rock and roll." The tension boiled over when, in a 1993 interview, Keith famously remarked that some guitarists can play 500 notes and say nothing, while others can play 1 note that makes you cry. Industry insiders knew exactly who he was talking about, and Steve's camp definitely noticed. Vai, never one to back down, allegedly responded at a guitar clinic quipping, "Yeah, I can play more notes than Keith can count." Ouch! The feud represents something deeper in the guitar community, the eternal battle between feel and technique. Keith embodies the soul of rock and roll, where every note carries weight and emotion. Vai represents the evolution of guitar playing, where the instrument becomes a limitless canvas for technical expression. Keith's philosophy? As he reportedly told his guitar tech, "I'd rather play 5 notes with meaning than 1,000 with none." For him, guitar isn't about impressing other guitarists. It's about connecting with the audience through pure emotion, even if that means playing simple but powerful riffs that move people's souls rather than showcase their chops. 4. Eddie Van Halen. Taking the number 4 spot is a feud that shocked the rock world, Keith Richards versus Eddie Van Halen. This one's particularly juicy because these two should have been best friends, both revolutionized guitar playing in their own ways. The alleged beef started during the massive 1989 Steel Wheels tour when Van Halen opened for the Stones. According to a former Stones roadie, backstage tensions were palpable from day one. Keith supposedly walked into Eddie's dressing room and found him practicing complex tapping patterns. Keith allegedly quipped, "Mate, save it for Guitar Center. This is a rock show, not a bloody demonstration." Things got worse when Eddie's two-hand tapping technique started influencing younger guitarists during the 80s. In a now infamous interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Keith dismissed the entire widdly-widdly movement, saying it had nothing to do with real rock and roll. Eddie, known for being humble, was reportedly hurt by Keith's comments. He allegedly told a close friend, "Keith keeps it simple because that's all he can play." The comment made its way back to Richards, escalating the feud further. Industry insiders say the real issue was jealousy. Eddie was dominating guitar magazine covers and inspiring a new generation, while Keith felt overlooked. At a guitar summit in '92, Keith allegedly refused to be in the same room as Eddie, calling his style gymnastics, not music. The feud represents something fundamental in rock history: traditional versus innovation. Keith championed the raw power of blues-based rock, while Eddie opened the floodgates to technical possibilities. As Keith supposedly put it to his bandmates, "I'll take soul over solos any day of the week." Number 3, Joe Satriani. Breaking into the top 3, we've got a feud that'll blow your mind: Keith Richards versus Joe Satriani. This one's particularly explosive because it pits the godfather of rock guitar against the king of instrumental virtuosity. The drama allegedly started at a VH1 Awards ceremony in 1996. Satriani, who just released The Extremist, was being hailed as guitar's next big thing. According to industry insiders, Keith overheard Joe telling a reporter that rock needed to evolve beyond the three-chord blues progressions of the past. Big mistake. Later that night, Keith reportedly cornered Joe at the after-party and said, "Listen, mate, real guitar playing is about connecting with people, not jerking off on stage." The entire music press buzzed about the incident for weeks. Things escalated when Keith gave a scathing interview to Guitarist magazine, calling instrumental guitar music musical masturbation and saying that, "If you can't communicate in 3 minutes with 3 chords, you're not a real musician. You're a virtuoso wanker." Satriani, always the gentleman, kept quiet publicly, but allegedly told his tour manager Keith wouldn't know good tone if it bit him on his wrinkled behind. The comment leaked to the press, further inflaming the feud. Industry sources claim Keith despises what Satriani represents: the elevation of technique over feeling, the celebration of instrumental showboating over songwriting craft. As Keith allegedly put it during a studio session, "I've never seen anyone dance to a Satriani solo. That tells you everything you need to know about what makes real rock and roll." This feud cuts to the heart of what guitar music should be: entertainment or art, simple or complex. Keith chose his side long ago. 2. Slash. The Guns N' Roses feud. Taking the silver medal in our countdown of Keith's guitar grudges is none other than Guns N' Roses icon Slash. This feud is particularly shocking because these two represent the same school of rock and roll, or so you'd think. The tension allegedly began during the 1989 Steel Wheels tour when Guns N' Roses was opening for the Stones. According to tour insiders, Keith noticed Slash's guitar tech setting up multiple rigs and countless effects pedals. Keith supposedly marched over and said, "Is this a concert or a bloody science experiment?" The real drama kicked off when, in a '92 interview with Spin magazine, Keith called Slash a competent guitarist who plays too much. He allegedly went further, saying that all those effects pedals are just a crutch for guitarists who can't make their instruments sing naturally. Slash, known for keeping things cool, was reportedly livid backstage at a festival in '93. He allegedly told his bandmates Keith wouldn't know a good lead tone if Mick Jagger wrote a song about it. The comment got back to Richards, who supposedly responded by calling Slash yesterday's news with today's haircut. Industry sources claim the feud runs deeper than just musical differences. Keith apparently felt threatened by Slash becoming the new face of rock guitar, the guy selling guitars and filling stadiums while the Stones were labeled dinosaurs. At a guitar summit in '94, both guitarists were scheduled to appear, but Keith allegedly refused, telling organizers, "I won't share a stage with someone whose signature tone comes from a Marshall and 15 bloody effects pedals." This feud reveals Keith's deep-seated belief in pure, unprocessed guitar tone versus modern rock's embrace of effects and production. As Keith supposedly told his tech, Gibson plus Marshall equals rock and roll. Everything else is just noise. Number 1. John Mayer. And here we are at number 1, the mother of all guitar feuds, Keith Richards versus John Mayer. This one truly exploded the guitar world because it showcases perhaps the biggest generational divide in rock history. The fireworks started in 2004 when John Mayer, fresh off his Grammy wins, told MTV that he wanted to be the next Keith Richards. According to industry sources, Keith caught the interview and reportedly told his manager, "The next me! The kid plays like he learned guitar from YouTube tutorials." Things escalated dramatically in a 2006 Rolling Stone interview when Keith launched his most brutal attack, calling Mayer a bedroom guitar player who wouldn't last 5 minutes on a real stage. Keith allegedly added, "These modern guitarists spend more time with their computers than their guitars. That's not rock and roll, that's PowerPoint." Mayer, clearly stung, responded in his own interview saying he had more respect for Keith than Keith had for him, but insiders say he was deeply hurt. His camp allegedly told the press that Keith was just jealous of someone who can actually play proper scales. The feud hit peak drama when, at a 2009 festival, both were scheduled to perform. Keith reportedly demanded that Mayer's monitor mix be turned down, claiming his guitar tone was offensive to real musicians. Mayer allegedly countered by playing Keith's signature Satisfaction riff, but in the style of Steve Vai, complete with tapping, a deliberate middle finger to Richards. Industry insiders claim Keith despises everything Mayer represents: the Instagram generation of guitarists, the focus on technique over feeling, and the commercialization of blues. As Keith supposedly put it in a heated backstage argument, "That boy has every pedal, every amp, every effect known to man, and still can't make a guitar weep like Muddy Waters did with one beat-up Telecaster." So there you have it. 6 guitarists that allegedly make Keith Richards see red. From shredders to modern maestros, it's clear that the Stones legend has strong opinions about who belongs in rock and roll's Hall of Fame. What do you think? Is Keith just keeping it real, or is he stuck in the past? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe for more music drama, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss our next scandalous countdown.